Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching us today. We're at Interop 2011 in Las Vegas, Nevada. On our program is Dave Martin, who's the VP of Marketing at Edgewater Networks. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rich. Great to be here. Thank you very much.
I was hoping we can start out by talking about unified communications in the networking space. What are you seeing?
Sure. Yeah, actually, very interesting. You know, the application space of UC tends to get a lot of the press and the glamorous side of that, but the infrastructure and making that run well is really critical for enterprises to realize the value of cloud services and UC types of services. And really, it's all about connecting, protecting, optimizing, and monitoring these communications. And you really, for a service provider or an enterprise who wants to leverage the value of cloud-based services in UC, you have to have the infrastructure to support all of that, and those are big pieces.
Now you've got UC, you've got video, and obviously there's tremendous productivity gains to be had with these new technologies that are coming out. How do we ensure that we are managing our networks properly so that we don't take all of IT's time solving problems, we don't have quality issues? What do we do about that?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent point because there's so much attention paid to getting it all up and running, but there is this ongoing maintenance and management issue. And very honestly, a lot of solutions today lack the necessary tools to provide that ongoing management. In the case of voice service offering, for example, you're going to want to look for solutions that integrate the ability to do call quality monitoring and measure the network impairments and their effects on the end user experience. And a lot of times, as you know, having bolt-on equipment to do those kind of things is costly, multiple boxes, very difficult to implement over time. So, certainly a solution that integrates that kind of capability with a focus on helping to simplify the management and really reducing the costs. That's the ultimate benefit that obviously the service provider or IT organization gets in terms of deploying those types of tools.
Now, we've seen this unbelievable transformation over the last 10, 11 years of IP communications changing the world of phone systems, PBXs, from TDM to IP-based, and various manufacturers are involved. And now we've more or less decided upon SIP, but there are different flavors of SIP, and SIP's still not the only standard. There's 323 and some others that we've got to deal with. In this world of multiple standards, how do companies cope with having to deal with all the disparate endpoints and PBXs and vendors that they have to make interoperate?
Sure, no, that's an absolutely excellent point. I mean, these protocols are wonderful, but they are frameworks, not a guarantee of interoperability. And as you say, various vendors' implementations of them, they don't always work together right out of the box.
Right.
And this is where a product like ours, Enterprise Session Border Controller, really is critical because it provides the protocol mediation that's needed between all these devices to get it to work properly. At the highest level, really, the Enterprise Session Border Controller we view it as a gateway to all IP-based communications in the enterprise, where the enterprise can apply policy. Certainly that protocol mediation and the interoperability is a piece of that. But there's also quality of service kind of policies that you're going to want to implement, security policies, and so on. But the short answer to your question is, if you're an enterprise or service provider looking to make sure all this works, you really need an Enterprise Session Border Controller deployed at the edge of the network, the customer network, or the branch office network, small, medium, or large enterprise if you're taking advantage of a SIP trunking service, for example, or a hosted PBX service.
Now that's a competitive market, the enterprise SBC space. How does a company differentiate who to buy from?
Sure. Well, I think what you want to do is look for a company that has a complete solution. As I sort of touched on, it's more than just about getting interoperability working and providing security. Particularly in the enterprise space, you're going to want to look for an integration of a lot of features and functions. Quality of service to prioritize your real-time traffic over your data, connections to legacy phone systems or TDM phone systems, PRI or FXS ports. Integrating those functions into a single Enterprise Session Border Controller is really important to the enterprise because you don't want to have multiple boxes, multiple points of failure, difficult in configuration and scaling. And also having a solution that will provide management visibility into the performance of the service, call quality analysis and troubleshooting and so forth, are really critical. And what you're going to find is a lot of the session border controller vendors just do one of those things. And this is how Edgewater differentiate ourselves, is really providing a comprehensive solution that addresses all the needs we feel to deliver secure and reliable IP-based communications.
Now, how does the needs of companies change when their security needs change when they have either SIP trunks or they're using hosted phone service.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I think largely if you look at that market from the service provider perspective, what they're looking for is an interface at that customer premise that is going to provide the same signaling, regardless of what's happening on the LAN side in the enterprise case. And so it's having this consistent demarcation point. Where you know the way that SIP device, in our case it's our Edgemark Enterprise Session Border Controller, how that's going to behave. And whether you have a PRI connected PBX in the case of a SIP trunk, or a number of phones, IP phones behind the Edgemark, there's a consistent signaling interface that faces the service provider that makes it easier to scale, and more reliable and easier to troubleshoot.
Now, can you give any advice to companies that are looking to implement security policies for VoIP, video, UC on IP networks?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the first thing is obviously getting it to work through security, and there's various firewall traversal methods. The Enterprise Session Border Controller is a voice-aware security device, and so you're going to want to look for a solution that is able to recognize the voice and video devices on the fly, and then apply that policy. Because if you're an enterprise, you don't necessarily have to go in and identify every endpoint by IP address and so on and so forth. So you're really looking for an ease of use type of solution that'll provide the necessary security to make you feel comfortable.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for being on the program today. This was great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Rich. Enjoyed it.